All right, so we want to check out Trench warfare here, offensive line, defensive line for the Packers. Again, the big deal for us was, can we keep Aaron Jones involved in the game? There are going to be opportunities in this game to run the football and run the football, use play action pass, especially as we see it unfold because of the danger of Davante Adams. They want to bracket coverage him. They want to double cover him. They played two shell and essentially asked the Packers, hey, can you drive the length of the field without making mistakes? You'll see here on the first series, we answer that question. So stalemate really here. We fall forward for one, second play of this drive. Now this is what's interesting. This is kind of what I was talking about during the On My Block podcast with Mon Green, is you watch these double teams. Now Chris Kursek is the defensive line coach for San Francisco 49ers. One of the best line coaches I've ever been around. Had the pleasure to watch him coach. I love his intensity, his attention to detail. Very, very qualified, very, very good coach. And one thing that I love is the way he tells his guys to get in stances. Now, the reason that you see all these guys in basically high-hipped sprinter stances from, Bosa, the rookie, or the young 99, all the way over. Now, they play an arm set outside, which was interesting thought process here. But you'll see high hips here, high hips here, high hips here, and their stances are relatively narrow. Loaded hips mean explosiveness. Loaded hips mean explosiveness, okay? And what happens when you're explosive is you're going to be able to do a better job of kind of warding off these double team blocks. Now, if you look at the back side of this one player who's kind of got lower hips than everybody else, watch what happens. Bang, bang, he gets turned, we get up to the second level, and we kind of even if we don't get there, that play is now falling forward. Fred Warner has to fall backwards instead of making that tackle and stopping Aaron Jones. He makes that tackle, but Aaron Jones gets another 2 yards, so now it's a very manageable 3rd and 3. So big play. And, if you're looking at it from the San Francisco 49ers perspective, they went away from this relatively early. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up. Okay, that means one man deep, man coverage. And as soon as Aaron Rodgers sees man coverage with the weapons he has, assuming they're probably going to be looking right here, he's going to take that shot 10 out of 10 times. Takes it. Safety's late because he's probably playing over towards Davante and, reigning MVP. Can't say enough about the job that this young offensive line did, particularly that left tackle position. You'll see here early on, Bosa makes some plays, especially in this first drive, maybe the first 2 drives. Makes some things happen. I believe he gets a holding call here. Yep, so we get the face mask call right there. Erases this gain, So now we're backed up. And again, it's just Bosa being a great player. Things happen. It's all right. And so now we got 3rd play in a row where Bosa really does something. Now watch this. Again, look at this stance. I mean, that's built for power. Built for power. Okay, we got to stand up over here. But these guys are in high hip stances. Those hip-loaded stances. Imagine if you're going to do a broad jump. That's the position you get in. If you're going to do a power clean, any of these things, you want to throw a ball as high as you can. That's the explosive, that's the athletic position. Sometimes we do a very poor job of translating that from the weight room to the field of play, but these guys are doing a great job of it. And what you're going to see is Bosa is going to play right in and take away both gaps, essentially. And so they did this all day. I'm going to replay this one because it's kind of important. Excuse me, they didn't do this all day, and they probably should have. He takes his first step inside. He's basically taking 2 gaps here, right? He's jammed up everything. There's no hole. And now 51, he can play outside if he wants to. Sometimes they'd bring the corner of the safety and they'd let him play outside. So it actually, instead of being a 6-man box, it turns into a 7-man box. But this right here destroys the run game, especially on like a draw set, because he's not taking an angle. He's just going right down the middle. That's the easiest way to destroy is getting to the backfield. So Bosa basically responsible for backing this thing up all the way to the 39-yard line, and they have to settle for a field goal. All right, so Niners are out. We know they're running a lot of motion in the offense. You know, LaFleur's offense and Shanahan's offense are going to be very similar. Obviously, of course, who's at the helm makes a big difference. Offensive line-wise, Trent Williams is one of the baddest dudes on the planet playing a tackle. Maglitsky over here from Notre Dame is a very, very good right tackle. Laken Tomlinson was a high draft pick. Alex Mack is one of the best centers in the last 10 years, 15 years. Probably, maybe a little bit past his prime at this point, but had multiple stops as being a top player for the Browns and the Falcons. And we know that the interior of our defensive line is kind of what's been attacked. Our edges are pretty good. Okay, this is where Kenny Clark starts making his presence felt. And this does not happen to Alex Mack very often. Okay, watch the center here. That's problems. Looks like you have the snap count. And again, I'm not sure. The other thing you think about too is, Preston Smith lined up against a wide receiver. A lot of times we draw things in the sand as coordinators or coaches, and just because you drew them doesn't mean it's going to work, right? And those are situations where, definitely Preston Smith is more than enough of a match for whatever receiver they have trying to block him. We talk about having a pass rush plan. So I want to show this again. Rashawn Gary's got to understand, and this is just part of whether they do this in meetings or whether you just understand what the responsibilities are or what the tendencies of this quarterback are. We talk about a pass rush plan all the time. Jimmy Garoppolo is not a runner. And we'll see later on in the game, if you watch this game throughout, that they do end up bothering him when they get in front of him. But taking this kind of route to the quarterback doesn't really do anything for Garoppolo. It doesn't bother him at all. Where you want to bother him is where Kenny Clark's coming right down the barrel, okay? So Rashawn Gary, one thing you can start doing with quarterbacks like Jimmy Garoppolo, and what you tried to do for a while against Jameis Winston, but he evaded you because you didn't press your arm out, is if you just press here and press into the quarterback so the quarterback feels the presence of that right tackle, that's what gets these guys off their spot. That's what gets them starting to think about other things. Okay, Preston Smith's doing a good job trying to come inside right here. He's going to get help, but they don't call it. That's how it goes. Good job here, 3rd and 6. So second series, and what you're seeing is they have 2 tight ends in the game. Okay, so they basically have 7 blockers. Guys split in tight, right? So there's space here. We're giving a little cushion here to Davante Adams because we're worried about it, but they have brought 8 guys down into the box. 8 guys down means 3. Now it means from a coverage standpoint, you're going to get this cushion. Aaron Rodgers is going to take advantage of that because that's his guy. It's basically a free 10, right? And this is where we get into the part of the field where you have to imagine the 49ers are thinking, all right, let's keep it close. And in other words, let's compress the field a little bit and just make him play dink and dunk. We don't want to give those Lazard 40-yard passes like we did the first series. Okay? Now, here, 6 in the box game. Back in the day, in this scenario, and you have 6 in the box with basically this linebacker having to play, at least funnel that slot receiver. In this situation, with this many people in the box, you're licking your chops if you're an offensive lineman or a running back. And this is where Amon would make a ton of money, right? Because you guys are playing 4 yards back, almost 5 yards back here, 5 yards back here. So you have time to get off your double teams. One of the hardest things to do is if this guy shoots his gap is keep that double team going, right? So, but if you're going to play this far back, 4 or 5 yards back, much, much easier game. Now, here's a situation where you have brought in some extra help on defense because now you're in the red zone. So your coverages start changing, right? Because the field's compressed. Really good job by Tonyan here. Let's spotlight Tonyan again. Give credit where credit's due. Excellent block here. Just drive, and win. Excellent job. All that adds up later on. In and out. And you just see immediately it's turned the wrong way. Taking candy from a baby, right? Great play design. Really interesting play design. this is where they kind of lost me. The 49ers kind of lost me. I don't